This is Adam Watson.
This is Trinity Watson.
This is the Darkslayer Mafia Power Hour.
Where it's probably not going to be an hour.
Today we're going to take a look at Extreme 2012. I guess the video probably just went up a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But we took a look at Arcana 2010 a few days ago, and I felt like that was a preview book done very incorrectly.
Yeah.
So this time around, we're going to look at Extreme 2012 because this is a preview book I recently read that I thought actually did it well.
Okay.
So you know who any of these characters are on the cover? Just start out with?
No.
That's Glory, Supreme, Bloodstrike, and I don't know who he is.
Okay.
Those are all early Rob Liefeld characters. So when Image Comics first started out, each of the founders had their own studios. Mm-hmm. Wildstorm was Jim Lee's. McFarlane is, Todd McFarlane. Extreme was Rob Liefeld's. So Extreme went away for a number of years. It was replaced by Awesome Comics, and then I think it just didn't exist for quite a while.
Okay.
And then it made a resurgence back under Image.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a return to that. So let's crack it open and take a look. So already we have a list of credits, which already makes this better than the last preview book we had taken a look at.
Yep.
So we got Prophet by Brandon Graham and Simon Roy. Glory by Joe Keatinge? How do you think you say that?
Keatinge, what you said.
Keaton? I don't know. And Ross Campbell. Supreme by Alan Moore and Eric Larson and Corey Hampshire. Bloodstrike by Tim Silly and Francesco Gaston. I know I'm butchering at least some of these. Mm-hmm. And Youngblood by John McLaughlin, John Malin, and Rob Liefeld. So, right off the bat, these are completely different iterations than I had seen before.
Yeah.
I didn't follow the Extreme 2012 relaunch. I'm a little bit aware of it. I knew Prophet and Glory had been reimagined for this, but this is the first time I've ever actually read any of it. Have you read anything with any of these characters yet?
No.
Okay.
When I was younger, I kind of tried to stay away from Rob Liefeld. Now that we're doing the channel, though, I've been reading a little bit more of his stuff. So.
Okay. Why did you try and stay away from him?
I didn't like the writing in any of it.
Okay.
And I didn't particularly care for the art when I was younger.
That's fair. Yeah. I grew up in an era where he was the artist on, New Mutants, X-Force, all that. So I'm probably a little bit more used to some of the nuances in his art than what you would be, or anyone in your generation would be.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. I was having a discussion with one of our publishers a few months ago who had told me he thought Liefeld only ever got work in the industry as like a joke that no one ever actually liked his artwork, right? And
I don't think that's true.
Not only is that not true, but it's a lesson in not talking about things you weren't alive for.
Yeah.
It's like, if it weren't for Rob Liefeld back then, there wouldn't have been any parents that would have been okay with any of us actually pursuing a career in comics.
Yeah, wasn't he in an advertisement for boxers or something?
No, it was Levi's. It was Levi's 501.
Yep.
Button Your Fly. And he was also in an episode of Lifestyles and the Rich and Famous, which I know your generation probably doesn't recognize, but it was a show about how rich people live.
Oh, okay.
And it showed the villa he owned back then.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So, yeah. In any case, he made that okay for our whole generation.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, any case, back to the story here.
Mm.
So it starts off with a goat-like thing.
Yeah, it's on like an alien planet or something.
Yeah. And is being driven off by some sort of probe coming up from the bottom of the ground.
Mm-hmm. I really like how the sound effects are done, look like they're done by the artist, I think.
Yeah, they are. They're actually drawn in. And I like the goat thing, and actually just like everything about this.
Yeah.
I like that it looks like it could be from Earth, but it's kind of wrong for Earth too.
Yeah, very pretty art style. really love this kind of panel layout. We saw it in Generation X during the airport scene. I really love how the top panels are.
You mean
the
top
sequence
panels and then one solid splash for
Yeah.
the double page spread?
Yeah, when they
It
do the
works
double-
really well in this, where it's actually showing the whole like landscape of a world.
Yeah, it's done. I really like it when it's done well like this, where there's nothing in the center that can be cropped out or anything.
Yeah. No
It's
words,
nice.
anything like that. Once again, though, these pages have a guy puking again.
Yeah.
It astounds me how many of these comics we look through that have puke in them.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many.
Puke is fun to draw.
It must be because it's in a lot of comics.
Yeah.
So yeah, on this page we see just how different these goat things are. That thing looks scary as hell.
Yeah, I'd hate to be going face to face with one of them.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of the movie Teeth, which also scared the shit out of me. So.
Yeah, you should probably stay away from teeth. I love how quick the fight sequence is, and then it's showing the aftermath with its guts being ripped out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really a person that's into gore for gore's sake, but it's drawn very well, and it's not it's not the main focus of anything.
Yeah, gore doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah, so just in this, when we get a good look at him, you can tell he doesn't look anything like the Prophet did. The Prophet character did back then. Not that you would know, because apparently you're not familiar with that character.
No.
But he was kind of the epitome of big muscle-bound, gun-toting 90s excess.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so this is a pared-down version that seems to be a sci-fi world.
Yeah.
Everything in the story is pretty interesting, and we get a to be continued in 2012 at the bottom.
Yep.
So we actually know this is a series that's coming. That's the right way to do a preview book, which is the reason we're looking at this one. So yeah, overall, would you be interested in checking this one out?
Yeah, actually, all of
I would be too.
Yeah, the creature designs are great. The art is amazing. The story is really well put together.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And it's a kind of a future sci-fi alternate planet type story.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember the original Prophet well enough to tell you what it's actually about, but I'm pretty positive it wasn't about that.
Yeah.
And then we get Glory. This one I am a little bit more familiar with. So Glory was kind of a Wonder Woman-esque sort of character.
I kind of got that reading this.
Yeah, she looks quite different in this though. In the original one, she looked more like she does on the cover, because Glory is this character.
Okay.
That's actually what she looked like in her original run. So there have been a few iterations of Glory already. There's what you think of looking at the cover, which is what Liefeld intended her to be to begin with, right? And then there was an Alan Moore penned Glory series that I think only like 2 issues through Awesome came out of it. And then I think it might have had like a 4-issue run through Avatar.
Okay.
But Alan Moore really embraced the whole gods element of it, of course.
Yeah, it's Alan Moore.
It's almost kind of a precursor to Promethea in ways.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty good in its own right, even though I don't know that it was ever actually finished. Maybe the Avatar series did finish it up. In any case, this art is extremely interesting.
Yeah.
We just went from one very interesting art style right to another.
Yeah, it's very visually like appealing.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, and in these pages, the artist actually does a good job of conveying that this is a child.
Yeah.
She's a little bit awkward looking, but still looks like a child, which
Yeah.
is not something you get in a lot of comics.
No.
There's a lot of artists that are very inconsistent with how young a character should be, and it's there even a little bit to a degree here. Like these 2 panels, she doesn't necessarily look like she's the same age as in that panel.
Yeah.
But all the same, it's pretty consistent and it looks good.
Right.
I really like everything about this. Basically, everything in these pages is kind of building up to who Glory is, how she was born. She was born almost in a Romeo and Juliet way between two warring species, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then she wants to do something new. I don't know how she knows what Earth is. Doesn't explain that in this preview.
Yeah.
But that's what she wants to do. She wants to go to Earth. And what does she want to do when she gets to Earth? She wants to fuck up Nazis.
Hell yeah.
That is awesome looking, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Her just punching a Nazi tank.
Yeah.
Their guts everywhere.
Not just the fact that she's punching one, but the way she's drawn to punch it.
Yeah.
And then holding someone's severed limb.
Yep.
I guess it's this guy's severed limb. Maybe it's this guy's. I don't know whose severed limb it is, but it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about that works.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
The smoke in the background is really well drawn, too.
The coloring on it is
Yeah.
very well done. I think I learned a little bit about coloring smoke just from looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Hill is a great colorist for this.
Yeah.
And then we have another to be continued on this one.
Yep. Where Glory states she's not going to be a part of the United States Empire either, but she'll be around when you need her.
Mm-hmm.
So to be continued in 2012. Now this one was the story I had the most familiarity with coming into this.
Supreme?
Yeah, so Supreme started out as Alan Moore penned, I believe, when Supreme was still Maximum or maybe Extreme.
Okay.
Rob Liefeld had two companies there. There was Extreme, there was the Image Comics branch, and then there was Maximum Press, which he was kind of integrating some of his characters into around the time that he left Image.
Yeah.
And then both of those kind of became Awesome Comics, right?
Okay.
So Supreme, I think that was Extreme still when it was Alan Moore. Alan Moore was telling kind of a quiet epic with it. He was building up to something. You could definitely tell that. There are a lot of speculation about what he was building up to, but it was kind of like Alan Moore's unrestrained Superman story.
Oh,
I guess is the right way to phrase it. So he did something completely different. Supreme was always a Superman-esque character, but Alan Moore actually turned it into something completely different. And then it was published throughout Awesome Comics tenure. I think, I could be wrong, but I think it's actually the book that has the most releases under Awesome. And then when Awesome folded, it just went away.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know that there were still scripts out there that hadn't been drawn yet. I don't know if they're full scripts or if this is just based off plot, because it says story by. So it's impossible to know if he actually wrote the whole thing. But I was a little bit hesitant on this one because, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Eric Larson. Not necessarily a style I really like. That being said, I think this works really well for the continuation of Supreme, which I know you didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
But this sets it up pretty well because you get the whole idea that Supreme has a new girlfriend who he's left alone in his fortress of solitude, for lack of a better term. I'm sure there is a term for it in the Supreme comics, but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we're met with this lady who is... This one is kind of his lover, but not actually. She says she has feelings for him, and then that's his sister.
Yep, Suprema.
Yeah,
Suprema is his sister. So
Yeah.
she's the Supergirl of this story.
I appreciate that they laid it on thick who these characters were, as somebody who has never read any of these stories.
Yeah, if this was published in 2012, that's got to be nearly a decade in between when it stopped being published through Awesome and started being published through here.
Okay.
And I had heard they had finished the Alan Moore series, but I haven't actually found any issues of it yet. After reading this, I think this is strong enough that I'm definitely going to track them down. I think this is a very strong continuation for a series that I enjoyed a lot back then, and I'd like to see where it goes. Hopefully they actually finished it this time,
Yeah,
because I don't know how long this was actually published for.
right.
And Supreme comes back, and he does look just like the one that was in Alan Moore's run. So they captured that very, very well. Those are definitely issues you should be tracking down, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and once again, continued in 2012. So it does a good job of letting you know exactly what it is. Oh, and the jokes are actually pretty good in this too.
Yeah.
Suprema is grilling his new girlfriend on all the things she could be. Is she an alien imposter that's posing as a human
Yeah.
to marry him, because apparently this has happened like 3 times?
I love how all she has to do is ask the girlfriend too. Like, it implies how she just asked the artist before and they just gave up the ruse immediately, kind of thing.
Well, this particular iteration of Supreme is very much based off Golden and Silver Age. It was building up to the modern age, is kind of how it seemed, but there was still a lot of innocence behind it.
Yeah.
Like what you'd get in those old Silver Age comics.
Yeah, it's a lot more camp.
So it's either that Suprema believes she'll just tell her, or Suprema's so naive that even after this has happened so many times, she's still foolish enough to believe her.
Yeah.
One of the two. But yeah, this looks great. I want to track that down. And then we get Bloodstrike, a character I had a little bit of familiarity with. I've seen the comics, of course, but I've never actually read them. So I'm not sure what the original iteration of Bloodstrike was. I always thought he was some sort of assassin, something like that. But it was never a character that really appealed to me all that much.
Yeah.
This one has really good artwork. So I think the coloring works super, super well for this particular story.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he's in therapy, right?
Yep, he's got the same markings on his face that he has on his hood.
On his mask?
Yeah, on his mask, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if there's a reason for that. I don't know if this is a reimagining like the other, like Prophet and Glory, or if it's a continuation like Supreme was. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I love how he's being spied on by the government agents, and they're like, he's into this mushy crap.
Therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Therapy is so mushy, don't you know? The horrors of war.
Yeah.
I love the facial expressions in this so
It's
much.
really good facial expressions, and I wonder why he does have those face markings. I am curious to know that. Yeah, and then...
Another to be continued.
Yeah, he gets stabbed, but it kind of makes you think he's got a Wolverine Bloodshot sort of thing. Where
Yeah, well...
he keeps dying, but he comes back somehow.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about in therapy, is that he feels like a zombie, and then going toe-to-toe with zombies is like an existential crisis for him.
Right. I'm interested in this one, but not as much as I am in the previous three.
Right.
Yeah, and then we have the only story that Rob Liefeld actually draws in this, which is a Youngblood story. So, unfortunately, this one has no words in it. And I wish it did, because it might tell me a little bit more if I were interested in it or not, if it actually had some story you could follow beyond besides just the art.
Yeah, it feels like, looking through it, it's more like a snippet of each page that he's already done.
Well, I think that's what all of them are. I don't think any of this is new content.
Well, what I mean is that, like, each page is not actually, like, a connected story.
Oh, you think this is just... Okay, it could be. That could be.
It's a collage of pages, almost.
That could be.
Yeah, that's how I read it.
So the one thing I will say about this, though, is, like, Liefeld's art looks pretty much the same. His line work, all that, right? But these new coloring techniques, I know there are probably some people who are, like, gaga over them, right? To me, this makes his artwork look so over-colored.
Yeah.
I prefer the look it had in the 90s.
Yeah.
Liefeld learning something from Silvestri here about how you have to show both boobs and both butt cheeks at the same time.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe Liefeld did that before. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know Silvestri does it like everything.
It's a very common pose.
Well, it is now because of the 90s artists like Rob Liefeld and Mark Silvestri. Whether I like the coloring or not, though, I actually do think Die Hard looks pretty cool right there.
Yeah, he does. I didn't know his name was Die Hard.
Yeah, his name's Die Hard. I don't know much about him besides that. He kind of looks like Iron Man in this one, but then he does a Captain America thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know he's Die Hard,
Mm-hmm.
and this is Cougar, who was going to be Cable originally.
Really?
Yeah, this character was the character that was going to appear in New Mutants number 87. But then Todd McFarlane talked him out of giving away one of his best characters.
Okay.
So he replaced him with Cable instead.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. He does end up doing Feral, though, who's still kind of the wild cat creature character in X-Force, though. So still kind of there in a way. But yeah, I'm not sure anything that's going on in this because I don't have enough familiarity with the Youngblood characters.
Yeah.
So to be continued in 2012. I definitely like that part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
And
know
the
if I
Rapper
get
cover.
yeah. I don't know if I would get the Youngblood. I would probably still at least check out Bloodstrike because I like the artwork enough.
Mm-hmm.
But Youngblood didn't give me enough in the preview. There was no dialogue, and I'd like to know if I'd actually enjoy the story.
Right.
Everything else, though, the Glory, Supreme, Prophet,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely would check out all those. What about you?
Oh, definitely. Especially with how interesting the art styles were in some of them.
Mm-hmm.
It was very visually entertaining and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it had really good visuals in it. You got anything else?
No.
All right, let's go make some comics. We didn't create the comics that were featured in today's episode, but we did create these. Check out Ghost Assassin in the Cards and the Chihuahua Who Flew Away mini comic, both of which were written by me. The Chihuahua Who Flew Away was illustrated
By me.